welcome to my channel. So today's video I will be working on a set from the Discord group From Palette to Plate, and our Maniology Mix Up Mondays theme is marble. So I painted my nails. I used this Model Ones color, really pretty, 1071. And I used the Scowie for these three in the middle, 3050. And then I have these Model Ones polishes. I have 0424, 0148, and 0594 that I'm going to marble with. So this is a pretty like pale yellow. This is a really pretty lavender color. And then I have a really pretty blue color. Nice light blue. They need to be mixed a little bit, but that's okay. And then I have some Maniology polishes that I might use. So I have this lavender, that's Bell Blooms B561, and Doll Dance B226. It's a pretty light blue. I'm trying to keep this very pastel looking. And Winnie B448, and this color is Caladium B440, which is like a light sage green, and this is like a golden yellow, because I don't really have a pastel yellow. And then Taco Toucan, which again, I just love this color, and Fleece. So Fleece is B355 and Taco Toucan is B439. Okay, so now I'm going to try and marble a little bit with these colors. Hoping this yellow will show up because it is really kind of pale. Let's get, I'm really just winging this. So let's get a brush. Just get a little bit of alcohol on here and probably should have put some blooming gel on here, which I think is what I'm going to do, although this doesn't look too bad, honestly. But I think the blooming gel would work better. And that yellow is not showing up, so I'm going to get a deeper yellow color. Okay, so I got a different shade of yellow, 0306, and it's just a little bit darker yellow. So let me get my paint palette here so I don't get blooming gel in my bottles. Just gonna put some polish on here. Three really pretty pastel colors. And I put some blooming gel. I have the Shea J Blossom Gel that I put on here. And let's see how this is going to work. It's blooming pretty quickly, actually. That's actually pretty nice. So just gonna let that bloom a little bit there. Just gonna move these tips out of the way so I have room on my stand to keep them spread apart. Let's do the next one. This is fun. I like doing this. I gotta use blooming gel more often. It is so pretty, and it just makes the nail sets just look so cute, and it's such an easy way to marble with. It's easier than stamping, honestly. Look how pretty that looks. Sorry, my stand keeps shaking here. Look how pretty that is. Okay, we're just gonna let that sit. And let's do the last one here. I'm gonna leave the flash on, the light on, so you can see a little bit better. It would help if I put blooming gel on the nail though. That would help. I'm like, why isn't it doing anything? That's why I like using gel polish. You can just wipe it off. I think I'm going to have to get some more purple here. Just a little bit. Okay, I'm just gonna let that one sit a little bit. I think this one just has a little bit too much blue in the center here, so I'm just gonna try to add a little bit of purple here, just to break it up a little bit. Okay, there we go. Maybe add a little bit of blue in this one, in the center here, just a little bit. Alright, just gonna let those bloom a little bit. I will put them to the side. Clean off my brush here. close everything up and make sure I put it away so I don't knock anything over. Okay, so I started this set for the Maniology Monday mix-up marble, but I don't like the way it came out, and my light just went out. Hold on. I do like the way it is, but I don't think it's a very cohesive set. And after just sitting on a couple of days and thinking about it, I decided that I wanted to redo these nails, and I'm going to save these two nails for another set that I have planned to do, which I will probably do next. So just let me get a couple of stands here and get these nails on, and I will redo these two nails. So sometimes that happens, you do a set and just not what you wanted it to be. So let's get this base color painted. Actually, see, there we go again. That's not the base color I want, because I want to marble these as well. So for the base coat, I'm going to use this Gowie polish. This really neutral nude right here. And I just want to give it one coat, just so there's something to fill in the gaps of the color that I'm going to marble on this nail. And then I am going to do some stamping on the nail, but just not that bold. I think that's what the problem is, at least for me. I think the colors are just too bold when I'm using such muted nail colors. So I'm gonna try something a little different. And I have this plate, this MXM071, and I might use these little flowers on there. Oh, I could actually use one of the faces too. And just nice and simple stamping. So for the blooming gel, I'm going to use the same one I used last time. I believe I used the Shea J one. So we're just going to put a nice little thin coat. And I love their brushes. They have those rounded tip brushes. Those are really nice. I think I need to put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. I need to get higher magnification glasses. And let's get the paint palette over here. And let's get some colors. I'm going to use this lavender color. I'm going to use this yellow color. Well, it's kind of like a peachy yellow, I guess. Or maybe a golden. And this peachy color. And I'm going to use this cat eye. And these are all just like model ones, 2210, 0778, 1071, and 0594. And they just come in those little boxes, those little kits. You know, you get the box off Amazon for a couple of dollars. They're not terribly expensive. And the bottles are really tiny, so. And I'm just going to place the gel wherever I want and just let it bloom. And then let's pick up some of this cat eye. I'm just going to add it here, there, and wherever. I don't even know if I was then shot on that one. Sorry about that. Just going to let that sit a little bit. Let it bloom a little bit more, and we'll do this nail on the end here. And I'll try to be in shot for this one so you can actually see what I'm doing. I love marbling. It's just a fun, simple technique that just elevates your nails. And there's no right or wrong way to do it, which I like. You just put it on the nail and let the blooming gel do the work. let that one bloom a little bit. And then I'm going to get a magnet. And let's see if we can bring this out a little bit. Look at that. Let's put the flash on so you can actually see the... It looks really pretty in person. So I'm going to cure this because I really like the way that looks. And let's do this one. It's a very reactive magnetic polish. I like that. Okay, going to cure that. Okay, so while that's curing, let's stamp a little bit here. And I want to pick up this flower image. Yeah, let's do this one. It's a really pretty flower. They look like tiger lilies or just lilies, but I'm going to keep them spring-like. And then let's pick up these orchids right here, because I did bring a light purple. No, not orchids. What are they called? Irises. Sorry, irises. Right there. It's a nice thin one to put on the little nail. Okay, I'm just gonna let those dry a little bit. Let's clean this up. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the nails and see what they look like. One of the colors is very neon. Oh, the cat eye. Okay, so I'm going to color these in, and I think I want to I'm gonna make them yellow. Let me clean up this brush real quick. Let's get some polish on my palette here. Oh, it's kind of too bright for what I want. I have to get a little bit of white and add some white into this, because I really wanted it a pale yellow. One second. Okay, you can see it's kind of a bright yellow, and I just want a very, very pale yellow. Hopefully that's enough white. Yep, that'll do it. Okay. Nice. Okay, so let's color these in. And, you know, some people ask me about the images lifting off the stamper. If you have enough paint on your brush, the images are not going to lift off the stamper. It's when your brush gets dry or there's not enough polish on your brush, that's when the images lift. And that's why I prefer using a paintbrush instead of a dotting tool to color in the images. Okay, so this one is done. I'm just going to put it off the side to dry. Just wipe off my brush here. And then I have this. This lavender is Yummy Gummy, and the yellow was Zinnia B422, and Yummy Gummy is B211. And this is a really pretty lavender. You also want enough paint on here, not just that the images don't lift, but that you also don't drag that stamping polish color, because if there's not enough paint, when you go to put it on the image, it'll drag it, so it'll smear the stamped image, which I've done before. A little bit more. This is going on just a little sheer, so I just want to put some more paint on the back of it so you can't see through the image. And by paint, I mean polish. Okay, that's good. Let's wipe this off. And then I have this color, Morning Snow. It's like a pretty green color that I'm just gonna paint the stems. And I don't need a lot of this, so I'm not even gonna put it on my palette. Okay, so that's done. So let's get this image on here. There we go. And I just need that one to dry just like another minute. So while that's drying, let's top coat what I have that is dry. We'll base and top coat it only because that will make the image, the stamping pop a little bit. I kind of wanted to redo the set just to bring out the marble colors that were in these three middle nails. Now I know that the marbles are different, but I wanted to stamp with the gold and use that Maniology plate because it's such a pretty plate. That one. Now let's try to base coat this without pulling the polish, because that happens sometimes as well. If you don't have enough base coat on here, when you swipe down, it will drag the polish, which I've done as well many times. You don't want to go over it too many times, just like one swipe. And now I'm going to cure it and top coat, and I will be back. So this is my completed set for the Maniology Monday mix-up. and I redid the 2 outer nails, and I think it made the set a little more cohesive. When I stamped the flowers, I used the colors that were in the 3 middle nail, which I think brings out those colors a little bit more. These other 2 nails that I did, I will be using in another set. So I'm going to try and cut the footage out of this video and add it to that video. So hopefully this video won't look a little crazy, but in case it is, in case it does, I should say, you'll know why. So I hope you liked my set. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And I'll catch you in the next one.